Hello everyone, welcome to SKD Institute of Physics. Myself I am Diwakar. In this video, I am going to explain the most important topic in physics, that is a one-dimensional motion. This topic is extremely important for the JEE Mains, JEE Advanced, NEET, MSET and the KSET also. In this one-dimensional motion, majorly I am discussing about the topic that is a graphs. Okay, and distance and displacement. In the middle of the questions it will come. Clear? By the end of this video, you can able to understand or analyze how the motion of the body can be identified with the help of graphs, okay, in a confident manner. Clear? Next one. See here. In this topic, I am going to explain the mainly first thing, that is these parameters are very important. First one is the distance. Distance is the actual path traveled by the body is called distance, and the second one is displacement. The shortest distance between the initial point and final point is called displacement, and the next one is the graphs I am discussing. Actually I want to discuss the which one? Graphs. Okay, majorly I am focusing about the graphs. Okay, in these graphs, first one I am going to discuss position time graph. Position time graph, that is xt graph, and second one is the velocity time graph, that is vt graph. Clear? And the third one is the acceleration time graph, that is at graph. See here, while we are discussing the graphs, you must know about the two important points. On the x-axis and the y-axis, if you taken, suppose if you taken the position time graph, on the x-axis always we should take the independent, remember, independent variable, that is time is a independent variable, means time does not depends upon any other factors. Okay, and the next one, x is the position. Position means displacement of the particle. Okay, here the displacement of the particle is a dependent variable. This position depends upon the time. That's why that is independent variable is always taken on the x-axis and dependent variable is always taken on the y-axis. Similarly for vt graph also and for at graph also. Clear? Moreover, in this chapter, in this topic, majorly I am discussing about the one most important point, that is slope and area. How to calculate the slope, how to calculate area. Remember, say very most important points. These are very most important points. If we want to calculate velocity, if we draw a graph for the displacement and time, if we draw a graph for the displacement and time, the slope of displacement and time, clear? The slope of displacement and time gives velocity, and the second one is acceleration. Acceleration is equal to formula velocity by time. Okay, if we observe carefully this one, acceleration is equal to velocity by time. Say like this, we can write the slope. The slope of displacement by time gives velocity. The slope of velocity by time gives acceleration. You must remember like this. Clear? I hope you understand. Okay, next one, while coming to the areas. Okay, if you draw a graph for the velocity time graph, okay, velocity time graph, just by doing the cross multiplication, x is equal to vt, v is equal to at. Okay, these two graphs, that means we are drawing the graph for the velocity time. The area under the velocity and time gives displacement. The area under the acceleration time gives velocity. Okay, these are the major very important points to discuss the graphs. Okay, shall we start with one important previous year question problems? Okay, see, observe it. See, here I taken one question. In this question is arranged in the JEE Mains 2026 shift, second shift, April second shift. Clear? Okay. If you observe how to analyze the question, that is most important. First, see the question. The equation of motion of the particle, that is motion of the particle, is given by here x is mentioned, means that is the displacement of the particle. They mention displacement of the particle, x is equal to a into sine of, okay, 50t plus pi by 3. This is the displacement of the particle. Okay, the particle will comes to rest. Remember here the particle comes to rest means you must analyze the point carefully. The particle must move. After moving, after some time, it comes to rest, means its final velocity is equal to 0. Okay, at a time they mentioned, that is t1 here. At the time t1. Okay, from the displacement to velocity we want to calculate, we want to differentiate once. Okay, there is a v is equal to, velocity is equal to dx by dt. Clear? That is equal to, if I differentiate this equation, a into d by dx of sin x is cos of, okay, 50t plus pi by 3. Again we should differentiate this 50t plus pi by 3. Then we get 50 into d by dt of t value is 1, that is a pi by 3 is a constant value, that is equal to 0. Clear? That is equal to 50a into cos of 50t plus pi by 3. Clear? Here the final velocity is equal to 0. If the final velocity is equal to 0, that is here the particle comes to rest, they mention. Okay, that's why v is equal to 0. Cross multiply the term, then we get the cos of this 50. If we cross multiply the 50, we get the 0 by 50 is 50, cos of 50t, okay, plus pi by 3 is equal to 0. Okay, here the time is taken as t1. We want to take the time as t1. Clear? Time we want to take it as t1. Remember, okay, here we should take time as t1. Okay, clear? Then 50 into t1 plus pi by 3 is equal to cos inverse 0. In the cos theta, where for which angle we get the 0, means that is pi by 2. That is a 50 t1 is equal to pi by 2 minus pi by 3. That is 50 t1 is equal to, if we take the LCM as 6, that is a 3 pi minus 2 pi. Okay, that is a pi. Then 50 t1 is equal to pi by 6. Then t1 is equal to pi by 50 into 6, that is equal to how much? 300 seconds. See here, at the time t1 is equal to pi by 300 seconds, the particle comes to rest. Clear? Here options are, so many options are there in that A and C. Then the remaining two options we can eliminate. Okay, like this we can eliminate the some questions, some options. Okay, clear? Next one, see here. After that, then if we come, just we completed the half of the question. Okay, for every question you must split, you must break the question. Okay, then if we break the question, means you can understand very much clearly. Okay, it will zero acceleration at time t2. Zero acceleration means, we know that acceleration is equal to formula rate of change of velocity, that is dv by dt. Clear? Okay, again we want to differentiate this equation. A into d by dx of cos x is minus sin x, minus sin into, okay, 50t plus pi by 3 into differentiating, again we are differentiating, means we get the 50. Okay, see here the acceleration is equal to 0, means we should take zero acceleration. Clear? If we take the 0 acceleration, 0 by 50 into a, we get the 0. Then we can write sine of 50t plus pi by 3. Okay, then 50 at the time they mentioned t2. That is t2 plus pi by 3 is equal to, if we take sine to the LHS side, means sine inverse of 0. Okay, observe carefully in the trigonometric table, or for which angles the sin theta becomes 0, means 0 or 180. 180 means we can write pi. Okay, there is a 50 t2 is equal to pi minus pi by 3. Okay, see here, 50 t2 is equal to 3 pi minus pi by 3. That is 50 t2 is equal to 2 pi by 3. Okay, clear? 2 ones, 2 25s. That is t2 is equal to pi divided by 75 seconds. This is a time taken by the particle to come for 0 acceleration. Then the correct option is A. Clear? I hope you understand. Okay, next one. Okay, we are going to discuss the second question. This question is also raised in the JEE Mains 2026 5th April. This question is based on the graphs. Okay, that's why I am discussing this one. Clear? See here, if you observe the graph carefully, first identify which one is given on the x-axis, which one given on the y-axis. On the x-axis they mention time, on the y-axis they mention velocity. See here, the particle is the velocity versus time graph. This is a VT graph of a particle is shown in the figure. For the time interval of how many seconds? 40 seconds. The total distance traveled by the particle and average velocity. Here, observe carefully. We want to calculate the total distance and average velocity. Total distance traveled by the particle. Remember, if we want to calculate the total distance, from velocity time graph, we want to calculate the velocity time graph. Okay, see here. From velocity time graph, that is x is equal to vt. The graph is done between the velocity and time. The area under the velocity time gives displacement here. You must understand that one. Clear? Okay. See here. That means we want to calculate the area. This is the area, complete area. This is second area. Clear? First one area is in the shape of a triangle. Okay. The area under velocity time graph gives distance or displacement. Clear? See here, the area under the velocity time gives a distance. Okay, see here. Then x is equal to, observe carefully, to calculate the distance, the area under this graph. Area of the triangle formula is half into base value is 20 into height value is 5 plus, this is a first area, and the second area is this one. Clear? Half into the base value is 40 minus 20 means 20. 40 minus 20 means 20, and the height is 5. Remember, here the negative axis there means distance is always positive. That's why if we are getting the minus also, we should take it as plus. We are taken only magnitude. Distance is a vector quantity. Distance is a scalar quantity. Okay, distance is a scalar quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. Remember that one. Okay, 2 ones, 2 tens. Same, 2 ones, 2 tens. That is equal to 10 5s are 50 plus 50. That is equal to 100 meters. Okay, 100 meter is a distance traveled. Okay, then these two options are correct. Then the remaining two options will be eliminated. Okay, moreover, come to the next one. Next one is the average velocity. If we want to calculate average velocity, first of all, we want to know the definition for average velocity. Average velocity is equal to total displacement by total displacement by total time. Okay, total time. Remember, total displacement means if you observe carefully, this is this area and this area having the same value magnitude. Okay, then the total displacement means we should take first one is a 50 minus 50. Okay, because displacement may be positive, displacement may be negative, displacement may be equal to 0, but distance never negative. Clear? Then the time we are taken, that is a 40. Then the total displacement value is equal to 0. Then the average velocity is equal to 0. Then the correct option is